Hello everyone, welcome to Live from the Studio. Today I'm with Wabisabi. We'll have a performance and also we will be talking about the matrix mixing. First I'm launching the intro, see you in a minute. Hi everyone, I'm with Wabisabi. Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, I see a few people have joined. Peronosphora, All That's Gone, Khalib Duarte, Malaki, and who's this guy, DB Polan again?
That guy's an idiot. Don't listen to him.
All right. Let's go over a little bit the news and various things. So you know my site, pitchymango.org. I would like to thank all my supporters for making these things possible. If you want to become a Bandcamp supporter, it's like Patreon, but it's all tied up to Bandcamp, and that gives you access to all my music and unreleased stuff, or exclusive one. So you can join my Bandcamp community. Today I'm wearing my fancy t-shirt. Put this stuff in this mode so we can see both of us. So I'm wearing my fancy t-shirt. I'm gonna stand up a little bit. You can get it also on my shop, so it's pitchymango.org/shop. I sent some email about it. If you're on the mailing list, you should have received it. I found this shop, it's quite nice. I don't need to hold any stock. I don't need to order in advance. It's very nice for indie musicians. Everywhere you have to order in bulk and then hold stocks and ship and everything. They do all that for you. All right, what are the events coming up? You've got Picked, which is, for my note, Picked, which is on the 21st of October at 7 p.m. So that's this Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. It's with Jordan Michael Francis and Eurez. I forgot what their artist name, but that's gonna be awesome. You've got Sonic Sunday, which is on 18th of October. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. it's on Twitch TV, Sonic Alliance. I should put some of this link. Okay, hold on. Dealing with copy pasting. All right, and the Twitch TV Sonic Alliance. There we go. You can. All right. Other event, you've got Resident. I haven't put the page up on the second Tuesday of the month. I'll put the page this weekend, so you should have it soon and you will be able to read. Also, what's happening right now is synboost.com. So if you're not here, if you're here, that means you're not at synboost.com. Maybe you should be at synboost.com and come back here for watching this show. There's some very nice demonstration and workshop and music. I think Wabisabi, you attended it? Some part of it already?
I was on just a little while this morning. The panel had just started with, I think they had 25 minutes to intro and listen to 8 different guests. So it's a pretty shortened show.
All right. And is it going remotely? I think they've got it very nicely set up.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Right. So if you want to go to Synboost, I'm just checking. Alphaster is here. Alphaster is also moderating a Bender stream. So Colin Benders is doing some streaming also. So that's some things to watch too.
I told Colin do not stream during this time because I was going to stream and I had dibs on this time slot, but he didn't listen to me. I don't know why.
Artist. So Malaki is here, and that was I don't know the event, the reveal. So for Halloween at 9 p.m. on Saturday, October 31st, Error Grid is doing a live streaming with all the artists, or including Malaki, and all the music they have been releasing. So it's on by New York Modular Society. So it will be on Twitch TV, New York Modular Society. So want to come later. And if you have got questions, Malaki is on the chat, so you can answer them. And if you're not watching live, put the comments in the video and watch comments, and I'll poke at people to come and answer your questions. So 2 options: come here live, ask your question, come later, ask your question in the comments. That's nice, and then I'll get people to answer. Also, while we are at it, don't forget to click subscribe, like, etc., and the links to Wabisabi various site in a minute. All right, what did I see? New release, I think. So Manifold Theory, which attend this show, and Resident has got a new album. So put it on your wish list, like I did, and wait for Bandcamp Friday, which should be on the first Friday of November, where they forgo their fees to pass all the money to the artist. So click on wish list and wait for this Friday, the Friday, to buy them all. You've got also VIR, who also has a recent release, Urban Connection. So these are 2 people locally. We had Resident Electronic Monthly was this last Tuesday. Memory Bell was on it, and he has released a new album also. That's very recent. And Memory Bell used to live here in San Francisco, but now he's in Colorado. So he's part of the Colorado Modular Synth Society. It's a very nice society too also. This album. What else did I see? Also, Cult of One, which was in one of the show previously. She's releasing I think single to make it into albums. She's releasing every couple of weeks new singles. That's also something to put in your wish list. All right, I think I've seen the news, and if I forgot anything, please put it in the chat, and I'll get it done when we finish the show, when I do a recap. All right. So it's time. Hi, and this is Wabisabi Bandcamp music link. And I'll start by the usual question, and I'm changing the screen, so that's, yeah, fully watching you. So, who are you?
Hi, I go by DB Pollen on YouTube, but my stage name is Wabisabi. I do music, so that's why I'm here. I've been doing modular for just got back into it for a few years now. I started back in the early '80s actually, with Moog and Oberheims and everything, and left the country for most of my adult life and came back a few years ago and started up modular again, and trying to do ambient. I have a website, ambientvibes.com. So I mostly try to do ambient works, but sometimes the mood takes hold and I end up doing a little more up-tempo stuff. So kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool. Just show your website.
Yeah.
And I'm moving to your Instagram, as there's plenty pretty pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also a photographer, so I do some professional photography and have some of my works displayed in the area. So that's was primarily my primary passion for quite a while, and then obviously when modular music took over, finances kind of went in that route, and photography and new equipment anyway for photography had to be put on hold. But that's how it goes. You can only go so much in debt, you know. You can't do photography and eurorack at the same time, so I think it's impossible.
Yes. Sometimes difficulty. Well, yeah. At least it makes some maybe nice cover album.
Yeah. Well, you know, in photography and music, they actually share a lot of the same artistic concepts. I found it's really interesting. The more modular I do, the more similarities I find between how to compose a photograph and how to compose a piece of music. It's a lot of similarities, and it's really amazing.
Caleb is saying Clint is content. I'm trying to follow also.
Mm-hmm.
So your music is Wabisabi. So I don't know what's Wabisabi.
Thanks for asking. Wabisabi is I spent many years in Japan studying Japanese culture, And wabi-sabi is probably at the heart of Japanese culture. It's even if you ask a Japanese person, you know, what is the definition of wabi-sabi, they really probably can't tell you. But it's they're two separate words, wabi and sabi. Wabi is kind of to use an example, it's like a lone flower in a field of flowers, and you focus on that flower as being the one object of beauty amongst this big field of flowers. Sabi is kind of on the opposite end. Sabi literally means, in Japanese, literally means rust. So, for example, you might, instead of buying a beautiful vase with flowers and gold on it, you might buy a vase that's made out of very simple clay with, you know, nicks and marks in it and maybe a little broken chip piece on top. And that is the beauty of that vase, is that rusticness of that vase. So that's what sabi means. So wabi and sabi, they go together in Japanese culture as two examples of how you can define what is Japanese culture.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah. I see Alex Barnett also join us. Good morning. Yeah, see also Caleb is re-releasing some of his album and music from the Clear Blood days, Lipo and Sex Toy. Anyhow, yeah, so you say you got, I don't know when or how did you get into music, or you get in music, or that was Modulars, right?
So straight out of high school, actually, I went to school in Southern California to become a sound engineer. And the university I went to happened to have a synthesizer lab. And this was early 80s. So this was all the old Moog and Oberheim stuff. And we had one of the very first DX7s that came out, because there's a lot of my teachers had connections to the music industry. And we had people come in who weren't really well known at the time, like Roger Lynn came in and demonstrated his new Lynn drum. And we had some artists come in and do some demo tapes. They went on to become pretty famous. So you know, I graduated from that, and it was at a time where people were making their own home studios. So, you know, needs for sound engineers kind of went away for the most part. So I left the country for the next 17 years and traveled around the world, lived in different places, and picked up a lot of artistic influences, and especially my music from many places. I lived 11 years in Asia. So I did that, and then came back just in 2011, and then started getting back into music. And I really remember loving doing the modular type of stuff. And I saw Eurorack had come out, and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. So you know, I thought, hey, Eurorack modules, like $250. That's pretty cheap. I only need 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, we know where that went. So tens of thousands of dollars later, I'm still into modular and loving every minute of it. Yeah, that's really about it. So I've always been into synthesized music, and listening to Vangelis and Tangerine Dream and Eno and Jami Jar, and just loving every second of it, and just being able to recreate that type of music had always been a dream of mine. So it's that's where the influences come from, basically.
Oh, that's cool. Just wondering what Caleb is saying. He's saying that you worked on the Cuir Bleu albums?
I worked on the what?
On the Cuir Bleu, sorry, excuse my French, with Caleb Duarte.
Worked on the albums? No.
Okay, I think he's getting confused with somebody else.
Maybe some other Wabisabi. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't know, Caleb is a friend. I did a remix of one of his track. Let's call it The End. And I think you both live around Seattle, so.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, I think we were talking also to do a little demonstration of matrix mixing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think we could do that.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, and maybe explain a little bit the principle, and then we can zoom in on it.
Okay. Let me. All right. So the principle of matrix mixing, I kind of picked up on it mainly for the ambient stuff that I do. So when I create an ambient piece, there shouldn't be a lot of rhythm and percussion and everything going on. It should be multiple voices layered, but then in a true ambient style, there should be movement, and that movement can be through modulation, it could be through subtle pitch changes, or modulation and movement using FX. And one of the, I guess, one of the obstacles or bottlenecks for using FX in a modular synthesis where you have 3 or 4 modules as voices is that, even the best effects, they have their stereo input, and a few of them are actually, stereo channeled, like the DLD or something. But you can't really use like one effect for multiple modules unless you want all modules to be affected at the same time, if that makes sense, unless you attenuate them before they come in, obviously. So what a matrix mixer does, and I'll demonstrate that in a second, is that it'll take multiple channels of voices and have attenuation for each of those channels going out to multiple channels of effects. So if I want to turn up, if I have a simple melody coming in and want to turn up a little bit of reverb here, maybe add just a little bit of delay, and then on the rhythm in the background, I want a little bit of delay and maybe add in some phasing or some granulation or something. You can use this matrix mixer to add in subtle amounts to each of the effects units. So it's kind of like a send return in a way, but with multiple entry points and multiple exit points. I'm using the WMD performance mixer, and one of the shortcomings of it is it has 2 send returns, mono send returns each, and you can only use one at a time. There's a workaround to use both at the same time, but it's a workaround, and it takes up one of your buses. But with the matrix mixer, I can literally mix these FX into different channels and add a little bit to each channel as the piece progresses. So let me pull up that camera here.
Yeah, and I was showing your modular grid, your rack on.
Yeah. So I actually did a demo of the modular mixer, and this one's done by Abraham Engel. So he runs AI Synthesis, located down in Portland, and he's actually on a panel right now. I tried to get him to join, but he wasn't able to. So what this does is this is taking. I have 4 voices coming into 4 different channels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so they're coming in here. And then each of these channels are going out to 4 different effects. So on this one, I have a pitch delay. On the second one, I have it going into a mimeophone. On the third one, I have it going into a rings, on the input of rings. And the fourth one is a sum, a unity sum of all the channels into a single output. So if I turn up, each time I turn it up, it'll add a little bit to that unity sum, and that's going to a DLD format. So let me see if I can move the camera. So there's the Pico DSP is the first channel. The second channel is the mimeophone. The third channel is rings. And the fourth channel is the DLD. Okay, so let me focus back here. So if I bring up each individual voice on the first channel here, I have drums coming out of the plats. On the second channel, I have a telharmonic playing a sequence coming from the Mux slicer. On the third channel is a Disting EX, which is a xylophone that's been multi-sampled. And on the fourth channel is braids with wavetable. And I do have a send return going to reverb, so I can add a little bit of reverb to each of these channels in addition to what's going through the matrix mixer. So as an example, if I turn up, say, the xylophone, that's going to be here, these 3. So these are 3 different effects that I can now add to the xylophone. So I need to mention also, this is the Euro buffer. So each of the voices are coming into the Euro buffer first. And then I have 3 different outputs for each of these voices. So the bottom row is actually the dry, going straight into the mixer. And this is going into the matrix mixer. So I have dry here on one channel, and the matrix mixer output from the FX going into different channels. So the xylophone, it's here. So it's coming in here, going into here. Now if I turn up the pitch delay, you can hear the effects there. So if I add it to the mimeophone, it's going to be a delay with reverb, basically. And then on the third channel, and that siren's not coming from me. On the third channel is rings, which people might be surprised to hear that's being used as an effect, but it is. And it's actually a harpless strong type of algorithm with a little bit of reverb on it. And now when I add all these together, the fourth output, I'll mute the other ones, is the DLD. So what I'm going to do is, so first of all, percussion, I'm going to add a little bit to the mimeophone. The second one, which is the telharmonic, add a little bit to the pitch delay. This to the pitch delay, a little bit here. And the fourth channel, which is braids, I'm just going to add this to the mimeophone. I'll turn up the effects. So that's how you can add a little bit of effects on what you want. Maybe turn down a little bit going into the mimeophone. Turn up the braids a little bit. Or braids going into the rings. Or with just one channel, just the xylophone by itself. Which is really pretty.
Yeah, so quite a convenient utility module.
It's really convenient. I use this almost in every patch. Because what you do is you have the light, you have the direct coming out for a dry signal, and then the effects, and you can add as much as you want for different effects at different times. The only thing that would be nice about this, and you could do it, is taking these four into attenuators, and then I have a mutable instruments frames. So if I took frames and then modulated the attenuators, I can actually basically adjust these contributions to each of the effects. So that's another kind of taking that one step further. And I have all of these delays also modulated by an octa controller, which for those who aren't familiar, that's up there, which is my go-to modulation source, basically.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got 2 HP reverb, so I could have a reverb on 2 voice.
Yeah, you can use. So that's exactly.
So this one I could have I could mix into only one if I want.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what you can do. So you can take a 2 HP verb or any 2 HP module, which has a single input, and have multiple sources going into it without having all those sources coming in at 100% volume. So it's a send return basically with adjustable attenuation. And it's very inexpensive modules. That matrix mixer I think is $90 or $100 built, and then the Euro buffer next to it, I built that, and that was I think $70 as a kit. Really simple build, just soldering jacks basically. But it opens up the rack so much more.
Yeah, I bought a couple of verbs. Maybe I've got 2, maybe 3. I forgot.
Just the verb, yeah.
Because I do quadraphonic, so if you want to give a sense of distance of the sound, then you add a little bit of verb. So technically, you should do a quadraphonic reverb, but the sound is about the same if you place a reverb before you send it to the quadraphonic panning module.
Yeah.
So you can apply the reverb after, or you can apply it before. And there's not too much difference between the two. Yeah,
it depends a lot on the timing of the reflections from the reverb.
Yeah,
that's possible. I also have, probably can't see it, but the one year row up there, I have a, I think it's a Pulp Logic reverb module, which is just a digital spring reverb module, which I can add in to anything up there for a quick reverb as well. But yeah, I have that 2 HP verb in my percussion case over there on your left, I guess. That I used it for adding some texture to percussion.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a trick I learned from Susan Chani. That's setup. And I think she's doing a workshop tomorrow at Sin Booth.
Book club workshop, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
And when we were talking, you told me you have a funny story on how you got ticket from Sin Booth.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd have to. I don't know. Does anyone want to hear poetry about modular synthesis? It's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, I don't know if we want to go through that.
Okay. I think Waveform magazine was doing a competition to win ticket, and I think the competition was send me your best email and you may win tickets. And you sent some poem and you won.
I sent a poem. Yeah, if people want to hear the poem, say so on YouTube. I guess I can do it, but it's a little bit I don't know, nerdy, I guess. But I got the tickets, so it worked out. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting poem, I guess. It was using old style English.
Yeah. I've got a question from All That's Gone. He's asking, does the climate where you are living influence the music you are making?
That's a good question. Yeah, it does actually, and especially during this time of the year, we're really just dove right into fall weather last week. So it's become cold and dark, and wind is blowing, and the leaves are blowing everywhere. And I tell you, for some really, again, like rustic ambient music, that is perfect, absolutely perfect. In fact, next weekend I'm going to take a modular setup and go out to camp on the beach in front of the Olympic Mountains for a few days and do a remote modular set there and film it. I'm starting up a YouTube channel called Modular on the Mountain, and I have a few videos for it so far that I've done, and then one that DivKit has done. And I'm inviting anybody who wants to do a modular video with either you on the mountain or mountain in the background or something. Just anything outdoors is fine, and I'll post it up there. And I'm offering prizes for most creative or best videos, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work yet, but yeah. So the area that I live in, I mean, I moved here specifically because of photography, but it's really conducive to getting into that really ambient mood of relaxation and sitting in nature and just listening to some great music. It really is that type of spot. So yeah, that's very true. That's a good question.
Cool. I see Schmuster is here. I think I may have said I saw that girl. I know only one person that said this name, and she's from Fiji, but I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for the happy streaming.
All That's Gone is saying nerd me. Are you talking about the poem?
But they want to hear the poem.
All right, I'll tell you the poem. Okay, please don't laugh. It's really a short poem. So I told Ellison, so I wanted tickets. So I said, so this is kind of old style English that says, "Lo, these lights incessantly blinketh, do torment me. Nigh come hither no sound which soothes thy soul, but under which my fingers do thy plastic and metal spears send to my ears a joyous glee, waveforms of harmony and beauty when they fill each expecting hole." So that's the poem. I thought it was kind of catchy, but
all right,
kind of nerdy.
So I think you're winning some people up to follow you on Instagram.
Great.
And I'm trying to look also. I think Alex Barnett was saying, he was trying to work around the WMD limitations and return.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Doppler A138M?
The 138 is a mixer, right? So the 138M is that a send return?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I have modular grid up. I used to use the Doppler 138P and 138O as my mixer before I got the very excellent WMD performance mixer, by the way. Love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the M is. You'd have to tell me.
Yeah, I've got this. I've got the WMD performance mixer also. The go-to module, unless you want to have a mixer on the side. If you want to rack it, that's really the one.
Yeah, definitely for performance. It's aptly named. it's a great mixer, being able to swap between channels A and B. Like I didn't even bring in the percussion. I had percussion on bus B. I just flipped the switch down and it brings in the percussion. It's really a wonderful mixer, well thought out. So.
All right, I think that girl is from Fiji. All right. We are getting about the time where it's time for the performance. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, follow. Please follow DB Poland, either here or on Bandcamp. At the moment, I'm trying to encourage everybody to follow on Bandcamp because I can include them in my mailing list, and if I release something, that's where usually the the word is coming from. You want to talk about your performance before we have it, or we talk after it?
Let's talk after it. That'll refresh my memory.
All right, no worries. And I remind everybody, if you have got any question, please ask them on the chat. And I think also, if any of you want to join us, where's my link? I have it somewhere. All right, find it. If you want to join us on the video chat and ask your question directly to Wabisabi, here is a link. You just click on it from your favorite web browser. Go through all the. It's a Meet GT Frank Martin, and then you can come and ask live your questions. That would be cool. All right, I think let's move to your performance and talk a little bit more after.
Okay.
That was awesome. Really nice. So Intanphone just joined in time for the performance and was having a couple of questions. Very nice rack. I've got that girl and Lenny Otto maker who's taking a break from Synth Booth. Thanks for you to come in. Everybody's clapping. Awesome use of space, beautiful music.
Thank you.
Very nice. Just looking. Applause, clap, clap. All right. Yeah, it was really nice. So, damn, keep it going in Intanphone. Well, use the rewind button, and Manifold Theory is here, and I think I saw Next Expanse also was here. Was asking, was doing the right symbol, love the subtle dynamics on it.
The symbol?
The symbol.
The symbol is probably my Crucible, WD Crucible. Is it Crucible? Yeah.
Let me put you. And if you are interested about the rack, Wabisabi has published it on the Modular Grid, so yeah, I give you the link if you want to see a little bit of the details and the modules.
I did look at those Doper modules that a couple of people mentioned here. So the 183M, yeah, it's very similar to the Matrix mixer here. It's just twice the size. So I wouldn't put that in a performance case. This is pretty small. This is probably 10 HP. But it looks very, very similar. The only difference is the Doper has unipolar and bipolar switches on the outs. The 183E is, that looks like a Matrix send return. It's also a little bit on the large side. I mean, Doper is great. They're just a little bit large if you want to take it out of your case and use it remotely. But yeah, those probably do very similar things to this one.
I have a Kako Gunsman also who's joined. So if you have any questions about the performance, about anything, or like with the Matrix mix, if I've got some suggestion to do the module demonstration. You are talking with me that you have a site for that?
Well, my YouTube channel, so I'm under DB Paulin on YouTube. So I do demos for a number of module manufacturers. I do for Afterlayer Audio and AI Synthesis and DivKit and couple others. So, but if there's anything in my rack that you want me to demonstrate or put in a patch or even a little instructional video, I have no problem doing that.
So please send us a suggestion.
Yeah. Actually, some people are asking about the rack itself, just really quickly here. So this is my monster rack. So this is actually 28 HP or 28 U. I'm sorry. Then I have a smaller percussion rack right there. So they're all self-built. I build all my own racks and I build all my own furniture here too. So yeah, it's just saves a little bit of money, and I have a wood shop, so it's easy for me to do.
That's good. And peronosphora is here also. Music. So what was the inspiration for this piece?
This is very, I love, I have to admit, I love rings. Rings is one of my favorite modules. I have two of them. And I love pluck, the 2 HP pluck. I have two of those. So I love doing an Asian style koto or shamisen type of sound, and getting that little warble on the end of the pluck, as you would hear with the shamisen. Because the shamisen is it's almost a more percussive than it is a melodic type of instrument. So I love trying to get that warble sound using a slow LFO and a VCA and then a delayed trigger. So I was just kind of demonstrating that technique and coming up with that patch, but it's very Asian influenced. The rhythm, the notes. I think it was a C minor pentatonic scale. Just wanted to kind of get that shamisen type of rhythm going with some kind of more modern percussive elements in there with the cymbals and drums and everything. So, yeah. Somebody said Intanphone says the pluck is hard to tune. Yeah, you're right. It is, but that's, I guess, kind of the fun. It's just such a great module. It's one of my favorites.
And I think Alex Barnett is suggesting that you should do a video on the magneto settings.
Oh, magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, the magneto and now the mimeophone. I mean, they're these they're delays, but they're not traditional. Obviously, the magneto is multi-tap and the mimeophone single, but they do so much more than just delay, especially with that shift switch on the magneto, which shifts up an octave, or is it a fifth or something? And then with the built-in tape warble and all the degradation type of things you can add, and the built-in spring reverb. Magneto is fun. I just learned how to do the looping part on it the other day. It took a little while to figure out, but that's fun in itself too. That's a fantastic module. Really nice module.
Yeah. So I guess coming on your YouTube channel soon.
Yeah, I'll do Magneto video. Sure. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. I know there's a few out there. But I remember when I was looking into I got it right when it came out from those guys, and I was talking with the guy at Strymon about it at Synthflex, and just asking him, "Hey, you're going to come out with a Big Sky version of the module?" That Big Sky takes a whole amp of power, so probably not going to do that. But the FX Aid came out, and if anybody doesn't have an FX Aid, yeah, go out and get one. But Magneto is. Yeah, it can. It doesn't just manipulate the sound. It actually is a sound source on its own when you put stuff into it. You can add stuff into it and just have it unrecognizable coming out. It's just fantastic. It's a really good module. Yeah, I'll see if I can do a video on that. Sure.
That's cool. And I don't know, some of the. So your inspiration is a little bit, some favorite modules of you, and you start from there, and then you develop the sound, or?
Yeah, so I have some favorites, as I mentioned, rings and pluck and braids. Turning down the bit rate on braids gives a really nice kind of a rustic ambient sound. Yeah, I mean, I try not to have favorites. I try to use the modules that I have, and when I can't, and I just simply can't fit it in somewhere, then that's obviously a telltale sign that I need to sell it or something. But yeah, it's when I do ambient, I usually start out with just a sound in my mind that I want to hear. In this case, it was a pluck sound, or it could be just a drone sound. That's why I have the swan and now getting the ensemble. And then I just kind of build up from that. But it generally, more often than not, gets into kind of an Asian influence type of vibe to it, sound and rhythm. Because that's just where a lot of my experience has been. But every once in a while, I just, 4 on the floor, hard drums and hat, and just get some rhythm going on, and rocking out to that is something I like doing too. But you can't not do that with a eurorack, really. But yeah, generally Asian influence stuff, driven by one of the mutable modules, is generally where I started at. Yeah,
that's cool. Also, so when you do live performance, what do you take with you?
So I have a couple different cases. I have a 12U case over here. Module-wise, well, it depends. Usually I patch up the patch here first, and then take the modules out and make sure I actually came up with an Excel spreadsheet where I can put in all the modules that I want to use in the case, and it tells me if it'll fit or not. So I use that a lot, and more often than not, I go like 5 HP over. It's ridiculous, but so I have a 12U case which I use for most of the modular on the spot stuff. A couple times when I've done really minimal works, I have my my 6U stained glass case over here. It's a case made out of stained glass with lighting in the background, and I use that if it's going to be like a dark club or something, because it just really stands out. It's really neat looking. So I use that. If I run out of space, I have a intelligent lunchbox. It's 42 HP, and I just got a make noise skiff too, so I can add modules into that if I need to.
Yeah.
When I do my modular on the mountain, I generally try to stick to 6U or under, plus a lunchbox, plus maybe a Zoya if I can't fit more effects into the rack. Yeah.
Yeah, I got myself a big case, and sometimes I think I should have got 2 small cases. And then
yeah, my big case, I made it so that I can it splits apart, so it can be 2 6Us or one 12U, so that works out okay.
Yeah, and I've seen also the one new module from IntelliGel that allow you to link 2 cases without having to take notes on your patching.
Yeah, that works. Or the Dofer makes one like that with the Ethernet cable going in between. I thought about doing that, but yeah, my idea is to try to cut back on the number of modules I bring on a live performance rather than adding to them as much as possible. 12U is great. Sometimes it's almost too much though, because your performance ends up being a little bit too complex. And after performing, I realized I have like half a dozen modules I put in the case, which I never even patched. But that's just ridiculous. But it happens.
Yeah, it happens. C'est Marla qui say yes. Just to agree that your music has a great sense of place, and
Thanks.
I think that girl thinks that you're hopeless romantic for having a stained glass case.
Oh, it is. Yeah. No, I love the stained glass case. It's just a it's just a statement more than anything, right? Doesn't improve the music, but I just wanted to see if I can do it, and it worked out pretty well. I think I'm going to do a larger one like that, stained glass.
Yeah, or sometimes when you perform, you need to have a kind of a shtick that people remember you visually.
Yeah. See if I can reach half of it here. I don't know if I can without. Hold on.
Don't trip anything.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's one half of it. So, and then the other half is a very similar design, and it's 6U. This is just the lid, and it has LED backlighting, so the case kind of glows. I'm thinking about putting in a module so the case actually fluctuates with the sound, but that'd be kind of weird.
I got myself, I don't know, kind of a strip light with the microphones.
Oh yeah.
The very cheap one, USB port, so I can just put a couple of USB on my case just for pouring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it here, and then that flickers with with the volume.
Yeah, one thing I saw at Synthplex last year that I'm thinking about doing is they put a projector. They had a silk screen in front of their modular set, and there was 2 of them doing this. I forgot who the group was, and they had a projector that was projecting images onto the silk screen, and they were behind the silk screen, so you see the images, and then them performing with their racks and back, so you just see kind of their shadows moving. That was a really neat effect. So I have one of these little Pico projectors, and I'm thinking about maybe mounting it on top of one of my performance cases, and then doing that. That'd be kind of cool, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this kind of stuff also. I've got a small projector, and I forgot which camera I've got to work with it, so I can usually point it at my case and I project. Because you are behind the case. I project what I'm doing.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about that. Actually, like Richard Devine, he turns his case around, so he's actually patching with his back to the audience, so people can see what he's doing. Or people having a camera in back showing your performance. We do that up here in Seattle for modular nights. There's a camera always pointing at the person performing, and it's projected up on a screen. It's pretty neat. I think it's part of the performance for people watching you actually tweaking the knobs and patching and things.
And I think Colin Benders put it sideways, so it's not his back, it's just sideways, so you can see him patching, and
right,
you can just turn his head to see the audience.
Yeah, especially for audiences which aren't really used to listening to a modular performance or watching one. I mean, they can't see what you're doing behind there. They see some cable sticking up. It's really great if you turn around and show them what it looks like. It adds more to the awe, I think.
Ishaton Lang just joined us. Howdy. I have to take my John Wayne accent, I think. Howdy. And Us Modular Society, that's Schmuster 2 also. You want to check also Us Modular Society on.
Yeah, I tried streaming the other day, Schmuster. I couldn't. I guess the keys had changed, so yeah, I couldn't get on YouTube.
Sometimes it happens. All right. I think we are a little bit at the top of the hour, so it's time to start to slowly unwind everything. Have you got any project? Have you got things coming up? What's your plans? Anything that we forgot to talk about?
Anything we forgot to talk about? Not really. I'm trying to put an album together. I have a number of songs I have up on my ambientvibes.com webpage that I want to kind of maybe either redo or remix or add to or something. So I'll probably get that done maybe by the end of the year or have it come out first quarter next year. There's a vinyl compilation coming up that I already submitted a song for. A lot of pretty famous people on that.
Indeed.
That was a lot of fun to do. So, and other than that, I'll be recording a couple more Modular on the Mountain videos before winter kicks in full blast and everything gets snowed out. Got some snowshoes, so I think I might try something in the middle of the winter just to see if it'll work without getting my rack wet. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, I've taken my modular out there also, but yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did only one video like this. I've got all the gear, but and then I wanted to redo it again for the NPR, and then that was a pandemic, and I didn't want to go in the middle of. I think I could have done it because I'm the only one in the middle of nowhere, but.
Yeah, this whole thing started when DivKid, Ben came over and stayed with me, and I mentioned the idea to him. He says, "That's a great idea." He says, "Hey, why don't we do it? You have a couple spare days." So I bought a couple spare of those battery packs off of Amazon, which worked really well, and we just literally drove up on Mount Rainier. It was pretty late in the fall, so they closed it the weekend after we went up there, and we each recorded a video. He was sitting in the snow, and I was overlooking a lake with Mount Rainier in the background. And I was so amazed at how well it worked that I said, we got to keep this going. So anybody's interested in submitting it, as I wrote on the forum there, hey, I'll pick you up at the airport. I have all the batteries, power, lighting, everything. Because being a photographer, I have portable lighting and all. Yeah, we'll go up and do it, weather permitting. We'll find somewhere and get it done. It's a lot of fun.
Maybe I'll submit one from our mountains here.
Yeah.
All right. So that's. I guess I'm going to go over the news again and do a little word for wrapping up everything. All right, changing the rules. All right, so peachymango.org, my site. Please have a look. I'd like to have some visitors. I want to thank all my supporters that are sponsoring the shows, the music and everything. It's on Bandcamp. I would love to have your name on it. It's only $20 a year. That's a little bit my tip jar. That would be really awesome. If you can't do that, please follow me on Bandcamp. Trying to have build a follow-up. You can have the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. Sorry, I'm changing the video so we can see all of together. So I've made a new t-shirt, and the design was from Tech15, who comes on the show from time to time. Let me stand up so you can see it. So that's this design modeling. Yeah,
awesome shirt.
So it's a peachymango.org/shop. You can find it there. Okay, things more interesting. Peak is this Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's the link is on Meetup, but from there you should have the link to the YouTube and everything else. I'm going to post the link. The performers are Jordan, Michael Francis, and Yorez. You've got Twitch TV, which is tomorrow, the Sonic Alliance, which is run by Fez. It's at 5 p.m. You've got Synth Booth going on right now, and I know some of you are going to go back to Synth Booth, so that's a couple of days, 3 days of modular synth, music, workshop, speaker, performance. So that's really awesome. Interphone was... Sorry, I'm just checking also the stuff. Davon is asking, is there someone you guys recommend for mastering or do it yourself? Any recommendation from you, David?
Well, Nathan Moody is great mastering. He does fantastic jobs. He's a little bit overwhelmed, I think, right now with his work schedule, but he'd definitely be one that I would recommend. Nice guy too.
Yeah, and he was on this show a couple of months ago. So if you want to see and we talk about his mastering side of things.
Yeah, he's at Obsidian Sound. Yeah.
So look on the playlist of all the live from the studio, and you should find Nathan Muddy, and then also get plenty links. The other thing that I have is that Malarkey and a few others are doing for Halloween night, Saturday, October 31st, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, because it's a New York Modular Society, so 6 p.m. Pacific Time. They are doing a streaming on the Twitch TV New York Modular Society, so it's gonna be awesome. And if you have questions, ask Malarkey is on the chat. New album from Manifold Theory. He was on the Resident Electronic Monthly last Tuesday, so if you want to watch it again. And I'm going to put the page this weekend for the next one. Is every second Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. And I'm looking always, we are looking, I'm the guy with the face, we are looking always for performance. And it's a kind of watch party, but we want a live performance, 20 minutes maximum of electronic music, not limited to modular synth, of your own performance, your own music. Push it to YouTube as unlisted. Make it happen. Other album that I've seen is VIR has got this album release, so put it in your wishlist, waiting for Bandcamp Friday. And we've got Memory Bell from Denver, Colorado, who recently also released an album, so add it to your wishlist. And finally, Cult of One has released a single. I think it's a single. Oh no, it's a full album. Sorry. So also put it in your wish list. Yeah, Interphone said Tuesday was fun, folks very supportive. Yeah, I like the Modular Synth Societies, New York, Colorado, or Seattle, South California, or Left Coast Light, because we like to support each other. And I'm back to Wabisabi. Is this music on Camp? Right. All right, I think we've done everything. Let me put back the big screen. All of us. Too many versions of me, so removing one. Here we go. Yeah, it was really nice to have you, Dave. And I don't know, I'll let you use the word for... before, wait. Next show, so it's not next Saturday, I'm taking a break. It will be on Saturday 31st of October with Trovarsi. I've got a show scheduled later, but I'm also looking for performers and people
in costume. Since it's on Halloween, is she going to be in costume?
Oh, I don't know. It will be at 11 a.m., so it's before the New York Modular.
It doesn't matter.
We'll see. So also I'm looking for some performers. So if you have got any ideas or if you would like to be on the show as a guest, please. I'm going back to the course. All right, so I've got everything. So next week I'm taking a break and I'll go away in the middle of the countryside on the coast. And I'll see you again on the 31st, but I will be on the Intertube. Okay. Wabisabi, I'll leave you the word for the end, and I'll launch the outro just after.
No, thanks for having me on. It was great. Glad I could be on. Again, if anybody has any questions on anything, just let me know or go to my YouTube page. I'll see if I can do that Magneto video. Sure. Listen for stuff coming out. Appreciate you listening today.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.